Hi, I'm Scott. Welcome to Synth Stuff. Today we're going to be making sounds. This is a really cool sound that I heard on Rachel K Collier's video, and we're going to figure out how to make it on 3 different synthesizers. Coming up next. So if you haven't seen the Andrew Huang series where he does, he gets 4 producers and they all kind of do a track of their own based on a common theme, I'm going to put a link to the most recent one where they all worked with Arturia plugins and hardware, which is just really great. He's twice used Rachel K Collier for this series, and I really like what she does. I just think she has a really unique sound, and the way she uses vocals in her tracks is just really amazing. But on this most recent one, she used the PolyBrute. Now, I love the PolyBrute, and I was really torn between the Hydrasynth Deluxe and the PolyBrute. And originally, when I bought the Summit, I was actually torn between it and the Matrix Brute. What kept me from getting a Matrix Brute was the fact that it was not polyphonic like the Summit is. The PolyBrute obviously is, and I've been fighting gas trying not to buy that thing ever since. And Rachel, you did not help with that video because it was just such a great sound. In the track she created for this series, she used a preset on the PolyBrute that was called No Computer. She kind of based her track around it. Let's listen to what that sounds like.
Found this incredible bass preset, No Computer, which kind of shaped the whole composition for me. Check this sound out.
So I heard that and I thought, oh God, it sounds so good. And it just made me want to jump on the computer and go to Sweetwater and buy myself a PolyBrute. No. Okay, so then I thought, well, wait a second. The PolyBrute is basically just an analog synth with, some digital controls. I can create that sound. I can do it on the Summit. I could probably do it on the Hydrasynth. I might even be able to do it on the Cobalt, the Cobalt8. For sure, I could do it on the Montage, maybe on the System-8. So I thought, well, let's sit down and try it. So if we listen to that sound, we listen to it again, you can hear there is a root note, and then there's a second note that is a major third and octave above. And then I think there is a sub oscillator an octave below. I also hear what sounds like some white noise in there, maybe a little bit of chorus. There's a glide, a glissando glide between notes. And that's about it. And it's a little bit gritty, maybe some distortion or drive in there. A lot of the sound comes from the filter. They've got the resonance really cranked up, and that peak resonance picks up frequencies from the white noise, I think, and that's what really kind of gives it the characteristic tone that she uses in that track. So let's see what we can do about trying to create that on these synths. All right, we're going to start with the Summit. The Summit is typically the one that I will go to bang out simple sounds easily because it's just got every control right on the surface. You can just tweak and twiddle knobs and you can get there really quickly. So let's start with an init patch. We have a simple sawtooth on all 3 oscillators. So the first one, we're going to, let's see, we'll put the mixer so we have the first sound, but none of the second or third. And we'll leave it there. Let's bring in the sub oscillator. We'll use oscillator 3 for that. And we'll use that low oscillator, and you know what, let's use a sine wave for that. So if we can hear that, nice sine wave just to reinforce the bottom end. And then we'll bring the top back in again. Okay, so for oscillator 2, we want to do a major third above, so oops, we bring that one up. that's about right there. I'm just going to tune it off just a little bit, give it some warmth there between the two. And then we're going to pop it up an octave. Okay, now we are going to be in mono mode, and we're going to turn the glide on. Okay, so we're getting there. Now let's bring in some noise. You hear the noise there. A little bit of white noise. Okay, so we do want a 24 decibel filter, and we're going to crank the resonance way up, and let's hear what that sounds like. Lots of bass in there. Maybe a little bit, bring the noise up a little bit. Let's bring the filter drive up a bit. Get a little more dirty sound. And have some distortion. And let's see, let's bring a little bit of chorus in there. And we'll soften the attack and decay just a little bit, or release. All right, I think that's pretty close. All right, next up is the Hydrasynth, so we will initialize simple patch, and let's do pretty much the same thing. So we'll start with oscillator 1's, a single, it's saw, that's fine. Oscillator 2 is also a saw. So we'll go up 12 semitones to get to an octave, and then there's our major third, an octave above. And then we're going to bring up oscillator 3, and let's bring that one as a sine wave, and it's already set up an octave below, so sounds good. We want to not be in polyphonic mode, we want to be in mono. Let's do unison. That's a little bit too much. Bring the density down. And we'll bring more mode on. That's nice. And we want to have glide on. Nice. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the envelope, so we'll soften the attack and release. Oh, we need some noise. What type of noise? Well, let's bring in some pink noise, I think we'll do. All right, so let's do some mutants on here. So let's see, wave stack on oscillator 1. Let's do the same thing on oscillator 2. We'll crank that up. That's a bit too much. Other mutants we want to use? No, I think we're going to leave that just the two mutants on oscillators 1 and 2. However, we will bring in pre-effects. Actually, before we do that, let's get to the filters. I'm only going to use one of the filters. We're going to make it a, how about a low-pass MS-20? I think that's going to sound good. I'm not thrilled with the MS-20. Let's go with a, ooh, how about a fat 24 decibel? That's better. Okay, now let's bring in some effects. Let's bring in some drive here. Let's see, where are we here? Distortion. Yeah. And we're going to use drive 1. Give it a little grit. And then in our post effects, we'll add in our chorus. Let's compare that to the Summit. The Summit has a lot more resonance in it, without a whistle. It's hard to get in that frequency on the cutoff the same. Here's Summit, Hydrasynth. Summit, Hydrasynth. Okay, that's a Hydrasynth. Now, let's see if we can do it on the Cobalt. That's going to be a little tougher, I think. We'll give it a try. Actually, before we go to the Cobalt-8, I was editing this video and realized, watching myself, that I completely forgot to adjust the filter drive on the Hydrasynth. And I thought, what kind of a difference would that make? And it makes a huge difference. So have a look. So here it is with the filter drive off. And on the Summit, it doesn't have that gritty kind of sound, but the filter drive on here just love it. Love the Hydrasynth. Okay, on to the Cobalt-8. All right, so we will start with an init patch. I gotta say the Summit, or the Cobalt-8 is just a beautiful synthesizer, but it's really, really hard to light well for videos because it's shiny and it just reflects, and the camera adjusts for the reflection, and the rest of it seems to be dark, and I got my light in here trying to get it right, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, so here's our init patch, and all right, so for the Cobalt-8, we only have 2 oscillators, so we're going to try to figure out how to get the bass note, the major third, and a sub-oscillator out of it. And I think we can do that. Algorithm 1 we'll set as a spread saw. And we want to change the spread. Put the weight up all the way. And we can change the spread so that we can get octave below. There we go. Okay, so now we have an oscillator with a built-in sub-oscillator. At least that's what it sounds like. The algorithms for the oscillators in the Cobalt-8 are really flexible that way. It lets you do a lot of really cool things. Okay, so then we will add algorithm 2 for, we'll do another spread, sawtooth, and we will tune that up. There's that octave above. And there's a major third, and let's listen to those together. Oops, shift off. And let's adjust the tuning, the other one, just to give it a slight bit of warmth there. And we'll also add some glide. Very nice. We're going to have to go into mono mode, so actually let's do unison. How about stack? Okay, so let's go to our filter. Not sure if I want to use that filter, but I have now 3 times in a row accidentally turned the knob here, which blows away the patch, and because you just change it, you've just swapped patches and you've just lost everything you've worked on. It drives me crazy. So I just saved it and overwrote this patch so I haven't lost what I'm doing. Okay, so let's, we got our filter. So here's our filter, and we got a type of resonant low pass. Let's hear. I think a low pass 24 decibel filter will work there. Add some drive. Okay, I think we're close there. We don't have any white noise to add in. We got a little bit of grit from the drive, but let's see what we can do with the effects here. So we're going to change our first effect to, let's see, we got a drive mono. How about drive stereo hard drive? Some grit in there from the drive on the effects. Maybe a little too much. And then FX2, let's stick. Let's see what type will we put in there. A chorus, so a stereo V2 chorus with stereo in it. Let's compare that to the Hydrasynth. It's hard to get a resonant peak in there without it getting really whistly on the Cobalt. A different filter type. Definitely not. Well, I think that's probably the best we can do in the Cobalt 8. It's not bad, but it's definitely nowhere near what we can do with the Hydrasynth and the Summit. And you know what? The System-8 has 2 oscillators, a sub-oscillator, and noise. So let's give it a try. Who knows? Maybe we can get something sounding half decent out of this. I'm going to put this panel into manual mode, so only what we see on the panel in front of us is what we hear. And we'll start with oscillator 1. It's going to be a sawtooth. Put it down. Color there. No, we don't want an FM in there or anything there. Oscillator, actually do oscillator 3 next. That's our sub oscillator. We'll make that a sine wave 1 octave below. That's a bit loud. Wow, that's really loud and overpowering. Are we in unison mode? Yes, we are. That's why. And we'll turn on our glide here. And let's bring soft. Attack and release. Okay, oscillator 2 is going to be our major third, so let's bring that up. We'll bring an octave up, and then nice. A little bit of off, a little bit of fine tuning just to give it a little touch. And let's bring in some noise. Okay, so now our filter, and we want a 24 decibel low pass. Lots of no envelope, no key tracking. A little bit of key tracking. Try some different filters. This is the Jupiter 8 filter. Okay, so now we need some effects in here. We need some distortion. A little less noise. Overdrive. Summit. Yeah, we're just not getting that same sound. I don't know why the sub oscillators disappeared. That's the Summit. Here's the Hydrasynth. Summit. System-8. Yeah, it's just nowhere near here, is it? That whistling noise is just missing. I think what it is that the analog filter in the Summit just does a really great job on filtering the white noise. Whereas the digital emulation on the System-8 it is, but the sub oscillator just keeps vanishing. Well, that's the System-8. I said I was going to do 3 synths. I've done 4 now, and I wasn't going to do the montage because it's kind of complex. But you know what? Let's just do what we can and see if we can come up with something really quick and dirty. So element 1, we want category search. Let's see, we want a synth lead, and we want, let's just do a search here. Saw. Simple sawtooth. Fat saw. Stereo. Yeah, let's use that one. Good enough. Okay, so we've got a sawtooth. And then element 2, we will do, let's see, we'll turn that one on. That is on as well. Category. And we will just do the same thing. We'll search for another sawtooth. Fat saw. So now we've got 2 of them in there. And on the second one, we are going to tune it up by 14. There's our major third. And then element 3, we want, let's do, we'll do the same thing, only this time we're going to use a sine. Ooh, CS80 sine, let's use that one. Okay. We'll turn element 3 on. And of course, that one's going to be our sub oscillator. And then, let's see, we want our attack. If you can't see, I'm actually adjusting the envelope over here. Okay, so that sounds good. We want this to be mono. And then we want some portamento in there. Nice. And then what we'll do is we'll go in here and we'll just add a new one that is just white noise. Oh, no, we can't do that. We need to add a new one that is just in a knit. Knit normal. And then we will edit that and get rid of element 1 and change it to our white noise. There it is. So now we can adjust the levels. So that way we can just bring the white noise down a little bit. This is a separate part. There's the Summit, System-8, Hydrasynth, Cobalt8X, and I just realized we did not add any chorus on here, but so be it. Just for laughs, let's do it on the SH-101. No, I'm kidding. SH-101's monophonic, we can't do that. However, we could do it on the Roland GAIA. The GAIA is a little bit different. It has 3 separate tones, but each of these is a complete separate instance of the synthesizer. So if you think of the GAIA as a VST, each of these is an instance of the VST in your DAW, where each of them has its own oscillator, its own filter, its own amp envelope. The only thing they share is the effects. So because we have 3, we can have the primary tone, the higher tone, the major third above, and a sub oscillator, but no noise. So we would need a 4th voice for that. So let's start. Let's use a super saw. And we won't detune that. And we're going gonna have a low pass filter, 12 decibel, and we don't want anything on the envelope depth. Resonance there, we can keep tracking there. It's set a little bit of amplitude in here. And there's our super saw. You can see we have quite a bit of harmonic content in there, so that'll be just fine for that. Let's turn our effects off for now. Okay, so that's our initial tone right there. That sounds good. Let's go on to the second tone. And that sounds like a sub-oscillator, but we will bring that up and we'll actually, we'll bring that to a super saw as well. Third octave above. We'll detune that just slightly. Okay, and then we will go to our sub-oscillator, which let's leave that as a sine wave. Octave below. Actually, do you want to, I wonder if we, we'll leave this a sine wave. Okay, so now we've got our 3 notes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select tone 1 and 2. So now when I adjust controls, it's going to affect both of these. So I can do, I don't want to have, for this one, I want to have the filter wide open. Not that it's going to be doing anything because the sine wave doesn't have any harmonics to filter, but for these two, and let's turn flanger on there a bit. We don't have chorus on here, unfortunately. We have phaser. Oh, that's awful. I don't know what it is. The distortion, fuzz, and the bit crush, they all kill the low end. We could put a little bit of low boost in there. And of course, we do have pitch on our D-beam. The only synthesizer I have with a D-beam. Fun. Well, that's it. I hope you liked this video. I really love doing sound design videos like this. If you have any ideas of sounds that you want to know how to figure out, if you hear a song and you're like, how did they do that? Well, that's the kind of thing I love to do. Post it in the comments below and I'll do my best, and maybe I can make another video of these covering some other sounds and how they're created. If you like what you saw here, please click like, subscribe, click that little bell. It really helps us when you do that, and you get notified every time we post one of these fantastic videos. Thanks for watching.